silver hair spiked and wild. This guy's eyes blaze like smoldering coals, red crackling energy splitting the air around him as his aura flares to full intensity. He's locked onto his target with zero hesitation, raw, focused power thrumming through him. Whatever's facing him is about to get a front-row seat to his full, unrelenting might, and the tension so thick you could cut it with a blade. Horned skull-faced final boss, oozing grim, roiling dark power, but our white-haired casual player is already carving through him like he's clearing low-tier trash mops. The dude's deadpan, unimpressed expression says he's not buying into the epic roleplay drama, just here to loot. And this total mismatch sets up how he'll derail every over-the-top, dramatic plot he stumbles into. He's clawing at his skull with a pained grimace as purple energy detonates around him, the massive sound effects implying a crash loud enough to shatter eardrums. Jagged shards of light erupt from his back, suggesting a brutal transformation where he trades restraint for raw, monstrous power. Whatever limits he was holding are gone now, and the only thing left is the promise of imminent destruction. A spectral snake skull erupts in a blaze of purple, pausing its attack just long enough to roast the human's unsightly escape. It's a bold move to critique someone's posture while they're literally running for their life from your giant jaws. A guttural, enraged shout of "Just die already" blares out as jagged, blood-hued strikes tear through the bloodied man, his teeth bared in a snarl of agony and stubborn defiance as he reels back from the brutal blows. The dark, oppressive backdrop cranks up the raw, unhinged violence of the moment. He's battered, bleeding, and clearly refusing to go down easy, which only makes the scene more tense. Whoever's attacking is growing more desperate to finish him off. Blood, red in 04, slashes across the stark, white background. This is the pivot, the moment the story holds its breath before the next wild shift. Tension hums thick, hinting at a new chapter, a time jump, or a game-changing twist about to unfold. You know something's coming, and it's not gonna wait. He's twisted midair like he just dodged a fatal strike, dark coat flaring and bloodied sword drawn, his sharp, amused grin screaming he's already one step ahead. This flashy evasion isn't just about staying alive. It's him letting his enemy know he's not going down easy, setting up for a brutal counter in the next beat. He hurls a mouthful of blood into the air with a manic, delighted grin, turning a visceral injury into a moment of unhinged joy. This is the exact moment his sanity snaps, signaling that he's done holding back and whoever is fighting him just woke up a monster. The character's knees buckle under a crushing psychic assault as a spectral skull looms behind him, its presence radiating a violent, purple miasma. His face is twisted in a grimace of pure agony and disbelief, muttering about the sheer unfairness of this torture. He'd just wanted a fun escape, and now his harsh reality has literally manifested to tear him apart. He bites down hard enough to draw blood, a quiet snarl escaping his lips. Whatever he's sinking his teeth into, it's not giving up easily, and neither is he. The tension here screams that something's about to break, one way or another. He plants the glowing red sword with a smirk that says, "I'm about to ruin someone's day." Purple smoke swirls around him like a bad omen as his eyes lock onto an unseen target. This guy isn't here to talk. The air practically hums with the promise of a very one-sided fight. That giant skull with the glowing eye is monologuing about the pathetic body of the silver-haired guy, whose tendrils are coiling around him like a cage. The sheer arrogance in its voice drips off the panel. It's already counting him out. But that faint red light around the protagonist? That's not a death flag. It's the slow, angry spark of someone about to prove a cosmic bully wrong. The horn-masked brute jams a bloodied blade to the white-haired girl's throat, snarling that she wants to die as she stammers out a shaky, half-formed reply. Tension drips like the blood on his weapon. This isn't their final exchange, and that half-spoken line is gonna twist the whole mess up fast. This white-haired guy's fangs are bared as he howls, a violent red aura exploding from him, his face twisted in raw, unhinged fury as he roars for someone to leave. The tension's suffocating. You can tell he's 1 second from unleashing a brutal, catastrophic attack on whoever doesn't hightail it. And we're about to witness just how ugly this gets. Total sensory overload as a crimson explosion of power rips through the air, turning the whole scene into a high-speed blender of energy and jagged sound effects. The protagonist is likely buried somewhere inside that blinding light, realizing that holding back was a mistake now that he's practically rewriting reality with brute force. It's that classic, I've hit a new tier moment that promises a very messy aftermath for whoever was standing too close. Comes the title drop, looking like a warning label that got into a bar fight with a calligraphy brush. The ink splatters and jagged fonts scream, "Danger ahead," while the text essentially tells you to watch your step because the rules of the game are still being written. This glowing holographic interface cycles through its loading sequence, bathed in cold blue light. The digital text finally locks on, confirming the user's connection. The system is primed, the login complete, and whatever comes next is now just a click away. This fancy-framed opener drops the inciting misstep. The narrator's younger sister barrels outside, positive their dad's home, but that wrong rush is the first crack in the dam. You can already taste the quiet dread. This mistaken hope's gonna spiral into something ugly, real fast, and it's all starting here with that dumb, eager sprint. That silver-haired figure reels backward as a brutal, unseen strike connects, blood erupting in a wild, gory spray with the impact's heavy sound blaring over them. The sudden, violent blow yanks the scene from calm to chaos, leaving you wondering exactly who hit them and what bloody follow-up's about to unfold. The white birthday dress I bought her is soaked in blood as she lies motionless at my feet. Above her, the shadowy figure who did this stands victorious, sword dripping with the aftermath of violence. This isn't just a murder. It's the spark that's about to ignite a very personal, very messy revenge arc. A jagged voice shatters the darkness, dripping with the panic of someone who knows they're about to watch a disaster unfold. This is the sound of a plan failing in real time as Irina ignores the screaming to do something incredibly reckless. The grinning blonde brute hangs back as the man in white bursts forward, hand outstretched, then the shot slams to a fractured close-up of an eye. Inside its reflection, a figure is skewered, blood spraying. The violent memory hitting like a hammer, raw, seething tension coiled in every cracking, blood-drenched frame as it tees up this brutal, pivotal past trauma. This white-haired brute's face twists with unhinged rage as he bellows that curse, slamming a massive axe into the back of the other guy's head. Motion lines scream with the brutal impact. The unsuspecting fool hasn't even turned to react, and this sudden, vicious strike cranks the tension into full-blown, chaotic violence. She's screaming like she just lost her Wi-Fi connection, face tilted back in raw, sweaty agony. The caption asks if there are tears, but honestly, she looks like she's about to melt under the pressure of whatever betrayal just dropped. His arm plunges through her in a gory spray, the air torn by a wet, brutal sound. Any last plea from her is just red noise now, swallowed by the flood of blood he's unleashed. The air hangs thick with that hot, metallic tang as his eyes burn with a terrifying, final resolve. His mom's screaming over a bloodstain, telling him to run, and he's just standing there wondering if she's holding a kitchen knife or his dad's sword. Classic flashback trauma dump, sudden, bloody, and leaving more questions than answers. That, what is she holding? Thought alone guarantees this moment haunts him for chapters to come. He hits the panic button hard, screaming his profession like it's a coupon for survival, tears streaming down his face in a pathetic display of pure fear. It's a desperate gamble to use his rank as a shield, but the sheer terror in his eyes suggests that card is about to be declined. No dignity left here, just raw, noisy desperation begging for a lifeline. Perfectly framed between a pair of legs, a suited shadow stands amidst the blur of defeated enemies, while the text screams for someone to flee. Judging by his calm posture against the backlit doorway, the only thing running here is his victim's life expectancy. Blade tears through the suit guy's throat with a wet, crunching spray. Blood bursts everywhere as he starts to drop, his suit already soaked through. The tiny, half-white-haired kid stares up at the carnage, his face a mask of shocked, wide-eyed recognition like this was always going to happen. This isn't just a kill. It's the kind of violent, messy moment that yanks this kid straight into the deep end of whatever brutal world he's been stuck in. My man is absolutely screaming his lungs out while clutching that hilt, clearly having ditched the office job for a life of bloody violence. Blood spatters his pristine white shirt as he commits to the bit, turning from salaryman to swordsman in a split second. The world turns red, which usually means someone's about to have a very bad, very final day. You can practically feel the splatter on the lens, a visual cue that the story just crossed from conflict into carnage. This isn't just a mood shift, it's the narrative lighting the fuse. He's doubled over, clutching his bloodied torso, gasping for air as the moon's harsh light bleaches his pained, slack-jawed expression. Every haggard breath says he barely scraped through whatever just happened, and the empty, moon-drenched woods feel less like shelter and more like a holding cell for whatever's coming next. This is the fragile, vulnerable lull before the next blow lands. That arm's being ripped to shreds by a vortex of violent red energy. Blood erupts in a spray as the hand's flesh tears apart. No chance to even flinch away. This is no warning. It's a brutal, one-sided execution, setting up that whoever's on the receiving end is either already gone or about to lose way more than just a limb. A polished loafer steps over a shadowed, gasping figure on the ground at night. The wearer's posture is casual, maybe even smug, enjoying the literal and symbolic crushing of their opponent. This cold, dismissive victory sets the stage for a deepening grudge or a desperate retaliation from the one left in the dirt. A white-haired boy lies face down and trembling on a moonlit forest path, groaning in pain as Korean sound effects emphasize his disorientation. His clenched fists and muffled cry suggest he's just taken a brutal fall or hit, setting up a classic mystery of who, or what, put him here. The eerie shadows and isolation hint that his trouble is only just beginning. That pulsing, blood-dark orb gapes wide, glowing red text blaring. What a fine vessel. Some ancient, hungry entity's already sizing up a target, calling dibs on it as the perfect host. The mood reeks of predatory glee, and the orb's slow throb? That's the countdown before this thing hijacks someone's body. No warning or mercy. That blood-smeared, teary-eyed character freezes in horrified shock, staring up at the towering shadow entity looming over them, its blank face twisted into a sharp, menacing grin, wreathed in a crackling, ethereal blue glow. The hero's wide, devastated eyes scream they've just realized they're completely outmatched, trapped under this massive, dark figure that swallows the light around them. This gut-punch reveal sets up a brutal, one-sided showdown where our hero's either about to pull a crazy last-ditch move or get utterly steamrolled. He drops to his knees, eyes wide with horrified disbelief as a torrent of blood erupts from his chest, stammering in "no." As the reality of his mortality sets in, the sheer volume of gore splattering across the frame tells us this isn't a scratch. This is the moment a major player gets taken off the board. His desperate clutch at the air is pure denial, but the tension screams that we've just hit a point of no return for this fight. Something out of a fever dream has our blue-haired hero in a chokehold, promising him a destiny that probably involves becoming a fancy paperweight for some eldritch god. The kid's eyes are wide with existential dread, freezing up as the world around him dissolves into a glitchy, red void. This is classic "your life is about to get weird" energy, setting him up as a prime candidate for a tragic transformation. That single weeping eye dissolves into a demonic visage, crying out for a soul strong enough to conquer this inherent evil. The pristine white night shatters, revealing a hollow core filled with chaotic fire that threatens to consume the very vessel meant to contain it. It's a desperate, bloody prayer for a hero, setting the stage for a protagonist who isn't just fighting monsters, but fighting to keep the monster inside them from winning. Those sharp, dark streaks slicing across the blank space are the afterimage of something moving at inhuman speed, the air barely registering its passage. A split-second urgency hums through the frame, like whatever's causing this blur is barreling straight toward a target, no time to dodge before impact hits. A brutal blow just connects. His eye blows wide with shock, hair whipping back from the sheer force. The choked gasp "KHK" says it all. He's caught completely off guard, pain and disbelief flooding his system. This sudden, violent interruption suggests the tables have just turned. Backlit by a blinding, flickering flash, he smirks like he's already won. Half his face swallowed in shadow, one sharp eye glowing with cocky confidence, wind tossing his coat as the sound of gusts hums around him. That neck bandage and half-hidden grin scream he's just made a dramatic entrance, one step ahead of whoever's foolish enough to try and stop him. The white-armored knights sprawled out cold in the back of a covered wagon at the Tatara trading post. A scruffy guy leans over him, exasperated, yelling, "Hey you, are you gonna get off, or what?" Passers-by pause to gawk at the odd sight, the knights oblivious to the commotion. This sets up a mystery. Why's he passed out in the first place, and how's he gonna react when he wakes up? He flashes that "I know something you don't" smirk, looking sharp in a cravat that costs more than a decent laptop. That silence isn't contemplation. It's just the arrogant pause of a guy who's already calculated every outcome and is waiting for the rest of us to catch up. The cloaked figure creeps up behind him, sending the guy into a full-blown panic with a yelp and flailing arms. That casual scare just cracked open a can of worms, hinting at deeper schemes or a hidden agenda behind this stealthy entrance. The air shifts from mundane to tense in a heartbeat, setting the stage for a confrontation or confession that's bound to erupt. Kai rips that white mask off with a sharp, aggressive tug, the fabric snapping away as the suited guy freezes mid-step. His masked face is now half exposed, that red eye marking stark against his pale skin, and his blank expression finally cracks into a flicker of shock. This is the escalation we've been waiting for. Kai just blew their charade wide open, and now this mystery guy's true identity's out for everyone to see. Just a heavy black boot planting itself firmly on the pavement with a deliberate thud. This isn't just a walk, it's a power play, signaling that the heavy hitter has arrived and is about to turn this situation inside out. The armored knight behind seethes with resentment, muttering "arrogant bastard," while the eye patch-wearing lead simply walks away radiating unbothered power. It's a masterclass in silent disrespect, where the guy doing absolutely nothing wins the exchange simply by existing. This simmering jealousy is definitely priming the pot for a future blow-up. Cold stare, signature chin scar, and that split hair dye screaming main character energy. He's here to ruin someone's day. He strides forward with a confident smirk, his mechanical arm tensed and ready like a coiled weapon. Behind him, his own manic grin flashes in the background as he shouts about top-tier immersion. This walk isn't just entrance. It's the calm before he absolutely wrecks someone's entire reality. That half-grade chibi wears a smug, squinty smirk as he deadpans a cringy cell phone. The game's opening cinematic hit so close to home, he mistook it for his own messy life story. Sparkles flicker around him like he's proud of that self-deprecating quip, setting the vibe that this story's gonna be way more personal and awkward than he signed up for. The chibi split-haired MC's losing his mind, flower hearts fluttering as he gushes about the pre-tutorial realism's insanity. 3 NPCs drift by like they're real people. A scruffy, bearded laborer, a woman in a pink gown, and a sharp-dressed guy with a cybernetic arm and glowing red eyes smirking like he's got a secret. The mood's the MC's unhinged excitement tangled with that cyber NPC's quiet amusement, setting up that this game's realism isn't a gimmick, and those NPCs are definitely more than they seem. His chibi inner self is ready to throw a street party, while his actual self wears a perfectly sharp, stoic mask, the quiet Turian sound betraying his internal freakout. He's already spiraling, wondering how he'll ever maintain this strict, unshakable role when his real self is this antsy to cut loose, setting up for his polished act to crack fast. Welcome to the launch day of Legend of Heroes, where the Tatara trading post serves as the tutorial area for our caped protagonist. He stands amidst a crowd of NPCs who are blissfully unaware they're about to be exploited for experience points. It's a bright, breezy day for a fresh start, or a very calculated break. This tragic god-tier MMO died 15 years ago, but its VR remake just dropped, and that Silhouette squad looks ready to farm some nostalgia. It sets the stage for a classic revival arc, hinting that whatever drama ended the first game is about to repeat. The wind catches his silver hair as he lets out a heavy, resigned sigh against the vast blue sky, taking a final breath of peace before the chaos resumes. That stark red emblem on his back and the twitching white ears on his shoulders scream, danger, even if his current mood says he'd rather be napping. He's clearly weighing his options against the clouds, setting the stage for a calculated strike the moment he decides he's had enough of being patient. The sky clears to reveal the bold title card, a true RP junkie, setting the stage for a story obsessed with performance and immersion. The bright, sunny backdrop contrasts sharply with the intensity implied by that label, hinting at a chaotic energy beneath a calm surface. This is the moment we realize the protagonist's dedication to roleplay isn't just a hobby. It's a defining, perhaps dangerous, personality trait. He clutches his gauntlet hand to his face with a sharp, dark smirk, even as he mutters about his aching eye. That contradictory expression, paired with the glowing molten gold of his visible eye, suggests this pain is less an injury and more a sinister power awakening. A development he seems to find darkly amusing, setting the stage for a dangerous new ability or transformation. This guy's got that flat, side-eyed glare like he's annoyed at his own attempt to sound cute, stammering to backtrack on adding the star. Then he huffs, deadpan defending himself that he's not an edgelord, all while those pastel, sparkly stars bob in the background, making his tough guy denial fall completely flat. Okay, you're over there side-eyeing, wondering what kind of roleplay nonsense I'm cooking up. No need to pretend you're not curious. Just lock and cause. This concept's about to blow your mind way harder than you expect. Yeah, I'm being smug, but when I say this is awesome, I mean it. Kim Dokja flashes a wide, unnerving grin as he proudly thrusts his tablet forward, presenting a rough sketch of a swordsman like he's pitching a new anime character to his peers. He's fully in his element, treating a lethal combat transformation with the giddy enthusiasm of a fanboy revealing his own fan art, blending unhinged otaku energy with deadly strategic planning. He taps the Demon Knight class screen, completely ignoring the flashing, hard difficulty warning because playing on easy is for losers. Suddenly the vibe shifts to a literal nightmare as the giant red demon that murdered his family embraces him from behind, Turns out that monster didn't just die. It moved into his arm and is now patiently waiting to eat him alive. The protagonist stands unbothered in the middle of a bloodbath, looking like he's waiting for a bus rather than surrounded by his enemies. The screaming victim in the foreground realizes too late what devoured entails, highlighting the terrifying gap in their power levels. This is the calm before the absolute slaughter, signaling the hero has stopped holding back. He's having a bit of a "I might kill everyone" panic attack, visualized by a sword embedded in red mist. Convinced he's a ticking time bomb, he keeps the world at a distance, convinced isolation is the only safety net. Talk about trust issues. He's basically ghosting everyone preemptively to save them from his eventual mental breakdown. With a manic grin and a background exploding with sparkles, this character triumphantly reveals that his edgy aesthetic is nothing but a calculated concept. He strikes a theatrical pose, one hand clawing the air and the other clutching his chest, clearly enjoying the spotlight. It's a moment of pure, comedic self-awareness that establishes him as the unpredictable showman of the group. He drops a fortune to make his gauntlet steam realistically, but the locals are just wondering if he's taking a dump right there. While they look on in horror, he's completely lost in the sauce, savoring every clank of his expensive, fluttering costume. It's peak immersion for him, but mostly just a public nuisance for everyone else. The silver-haired one-eyed guy flashes a sharp, smug grin, eyes glinting with a cocky, "I was just messing around" spark as he clears his throat with a casual ahem. He shakes off his giddy victory high, snapping straight into that focused, scheming energy. Now that he's done basking, the real, calculated roleplay's kicking off, and you just know he's got some devious, tight plan ready to unfold. A spiky, electrified speech bubble bursts with panic, the character's mind racing as they mutter, "but what do I do now?" A raw, breathless question that hangs in the silence, signaling a crisis of purpose. The blurred, dark shapes framing the bubble suggest their world is spiraling out of control, their thoughts drowning in uncertainty. This moment is the calm before the storm, a desperate pause that begs the question, what impossible choice will they make next? He gazes up at the empty sky, wondering why his system quest hasn't triggered yet. The silence and the blank interface suggest a glitch or a hidden trap, putting him on high alert. This subtle shift in the world's mechanics hints that he's about to face a challenge outside his usual control. Our sharp-eyed, split-haired protagonist gawks at the random mini-map and quest window that just popped up, his expression twisted in annoyed confusion. He huffs out a dry, incredulous, "A mini-map? A quest window?" before throwing up his hands and grumbling about just waiting for a progression NPC to find him. The tense, fed-up mood tells us he's stuck in a game system he didn't ask for, and he's already over the standard tutorial setup. A nervous bystander tentatively asks the stoic white-haired man if he's the demon knight, only to meet a sharp, unamused glare. The internal reaction of, "Oh, here we go," perfectly captures the mood. He's not flattered, he's just exasperated that his cover, or his peace and quiet, is blown. That cybernetic-armed guy's metal hand drags a low, clattering thud across the stone floor, his bored half-lidded gaze fixed on the small kid, who's white-knuckling his suspenders like they're his last lifeline. The kid's eyes are blown wide, equal parts terrified and stubborn, like he's about to blurt out something he shouldn't, while the taller man's posture just screams, "Don't waste my time." And you just know whatever comes next is gonna flip this quiet standoff on its head. Is the recap narration based on the image provided? Our guy is staring at his internal UI like it crashed, completely confused that no dialogue options are popping up to save him from this awkward conversation. He's sweating bullets and internally screaming about broken game mechanics, while his eye patch character just stands there looking unimpressed. Then, caught off guard by the question, he snaps back to reality and deadpans a confirmation that might actually make things worse. That familiar sound effect means his instincts just kicked into high gear, sensing something massive nearby. He drops the surprised look and instantly switches to business, telling his companion to lead the way with a calm, collected smile. He's ready to dive into whatever trouble is waiting. Acting like this is just another Tuesday. He practically jumps out of his skin, sweat beading on a face that's pure wide-eyed panic. Clenching his fists to his chest, he forces out a terrified, "Why yes." That sounds more like a plea than an answer. The air is suffocatingly tense, and it's obvious he's about to agree to something incredibly stupid just to survive the moment. The young recruit's eyes light up with genuine awe as he hurries to intercept the silver-haired hero in black, practically tripping over his own respect. He stammers out an invitation, his face flushed with the desperate hope of guiding the legendary adventurer to the guild. Our protagonist just turns slightly, a silent, looming presence that promises nothing but the immediate next move. The whole interaction has that classic overeager fanboy meets stoic powerhouse vibe, setting up a perfectly lopsided mentorship dynamic for the quest ahead. Silverhair is struggling to sell the image of a harmless, relatable teenager, while his actual presence has everyone else paralyzed with fear. The disconnect between his internal monologue of a charming, nice guy and that icy, intense profile view is painful. He's practically begging the universe for a break, but he just looks like a predator trying to lure prey with a forced smile. A sharp, internal question cuts through the silence. How did they make everything feel so real? The sheer, unnerving realism of the city and its people floods his thoughts, shattering his assumption that it was all just a simulation. That spike of doubt means his old theory is toast, and the truth is probably way weirder. The negotiation gets cutthroat as the guy in suspenders haggles for more payment while nervously eyeing his profit margins. His partner, cloaked in darkness, turns away with a dismissive FLFF, already weighing bigger problems like the rebel army. That final, ominous whisper of the demon lands like a ticking bomb, promising this deal just got a hell of a lot more complicated. The jagged, electric speech bubble hums with a chilling realization. These NPCs aren't following their code. They're improvising, and the quiet panic behind that observation shifts the entire game's foundation. It's not just dialogue. It's a ticking time bomb of autonomous thought, hinting the system's true nature is far more alive and unpredictable than anyone planned. This changes the stakes from survival to containing something that shouldn't exist. He's dismissing the NPCs as simple code, trying to convince himself that despite the insane fidelity, it's just a simulation. But that specific brand of rationalization, acknowledging how fast the AI is evolving while denying their personhood, is basically lighting a fuse on the sentience reveal plotline. Plugged into a sleek console, our guy sits dead still while data streams somewhere behind his vacant stare. The chair's hum promises a transfer, consciousness, memories, or maybe just a really aggressive software update, and you just know something's about to glitch. The wide-eyed boy bursts through the doorway, fist clenched and voice sharp with desperate urgency as he shouts, "This is the place." His posture tight with the weight of his search. A silent, imposing figure in dark formal boots and uniform looms in the frame, and whatever waits inside this room is already crackling with unspoken, heavy tension that's about to boil over. Extreme close-up on a single, wide gray eye. The white-haired character freezes, pupils dilated in sudden shock as dark hair looms in their peripheral vision. A sharp gasp escapes, followed by a confrontational call from the shadowy figure, setting up a tense, immediate face-off. The Tatara Adventurer Guild buzzes with low, busy chatter as adventurers crowd the quest board, when the guy in the black cloak with a red cross emblazoned on his back bellows, "Clerk, I've brought the adventurer." cutting through the ambient noise. Every half-turned head and lingering glance in the guild says everyone's waiting to see what chaotic mission or messy favor this announcement's about to drag in. These gamers are losing their minds over the hyper-realistic floorboards, practically swooning at the immersive sound and texture while the main guy just stands there looking unimpressed. The awe is so intense they're joking that the game devs, Deep Sea Pearls, must have literally captured an alien to program this level of realism. It sets up the game world as suspiciously perfect, hinting that the technology behind it is far more advanced and maybe more sinister than a normal gaming company should possess. The woman in white beams as she spots the armored newcomer, her grip tightening on whatever that is, while the kid between them stands there looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. This little welcome party screams tension. What's he after? And why is she so eager to chat? Sounds like we're about to get some answers, or at least a really awkward silence. This is Isrin, the Tatara Adventurer Guild's clerk, looking way too cheerful for a desk job as she introduces herself with a smile that could sell you a timeshare. She's holding that clipboard like a weapon of bureaucracy, ready to hand out the first quest that'll probably get someone killed. Definitely the first step into the guild life, so expect a lot of paperwork before any real action happens. A woman with messy brown hair, partially tied, confronts a man with split black and white hair, an eye patch, and a sharp, guarded expression. She's just called him the Demon Knight, and he's tense, likely wary of her motives. She presses him, politely but firmly, to show his adventurer token, which could expose his true identity or trigger a confrontation. The mood is icy with unspoken suspicion, setting up a moment where he might either comply or reveal a secret. White-haired with eyes blown wide in shocked confusion as the system blares up with the inventory activation instructions, the air crackling with that sudden, "Oh, you're in a game system now" jolt. The mood shifts fast to quiet, eager anticipation. This character just stumbled onto a whole toolkit of items, and they're already zeroing in on that glowing UI, ready to grab what's theirs. The system really decides to block the vision of the one guy relying on a single eyeball, spawning a massive tutorial window right in his face. He's visibly sweating with pure annoyance as the holographic text explains how to use his inventory, conveniently blinding him to anything actually dangerous. It's a UI disaster that basically tells him to put his hand in a bag right when he can't see his own hand. Smirking like he's caught a cheat code, this sharp-haired guy snarks that the glitching floating status window's clumsy placement gives the overly perfect system a silly human touch. His amused half-grin drips with smug superiority. He's already latching onto that tiny flaw as leverage, clearly plotting to use this system's weak spot to his advantage. A gloved hand clamps down on a formal, emblem-marked badge with a sharp snap, the crisp K sound effect cutting through the opulent, gilded air. The terse yes, confirmed dialogue seals the moment. This high-status operative just locked in their clearance, and you know whatever mission or access they just greenlit's about to hit full stride. The fancy, ornate background and sharp, precise grip scream that this isn't some casual check. It's a formal, no turning back okay for something big. The armored enforcer snaps around at the handler's urgent offer, the handler wearing a cocky, knowing grin as he lays out how the client's in a dire time crunch. The enforcer doesn't hesitate, voice sharp and ready, shooting back, lead the way. And just like that, we're diving straight into a high-stakes gig that can't wait a second longer. The tutorial quest is finally here, and these two are striding right into it. One with the confident swagger of a battle-hardened knight, the other with arms crossed tight, her face a mask of forced calm. But her inner monologue screams she's sweating bullets, thinking she knows the script from the original, yet still feeling that deep, gnawing dread. They're walking toward the starting point, the tension of a beginner's mission hanging thick in the air, and you just know that foreknowledge is about to get tested hard. Okay, so the grumpy old patriarch in the fancy room just laid eyes on the protagonist. His eyes are popping with pure, unfiltered disbelief, and his mouth is agape as he thinks this guy is even more of a joke than the rumors claimed. The air is thick with the tension of a high-stakes first meeting, and his disgusted assessment practically guarantees this isn't going to be a friendly chat. The nervous guy roasts the brooding hero's ominous mug, while panicking that he accepted a job he knows nothing about, setting up a classic case of too late to back out now energy. The silver-haired guy stares forward with a deadpan, "I want to go home," face while his partner goes full unhinged gamer mode behind him, flashing a manic grin as he rationalizes verbally destroying a programmed NPC. Rationalizing that the old man is just code, the dark-haired guy gleefully announces a guilt-free keyboard battle, aka online flaming, while his friend's expression suggests he is already regretting every life choice that led to this moment. This sudden shift into chaotic internet humor sets the stage for a low-stakes, but hilariously intense feud against a virtual target who has no idea what's coming. This chibi brainiac, fingers propped to his chin, mulls over quest gatekeeping. Affinity locks usually block access, but he's banking on tutorial mode to let him slide past the rules no matter what he says. The smug, overconfident glint on his face practically screams he's about to test how bulletproof this guarantee really is, setting up a potential humbling twist when the system doesn't play by his script. She breaks the silence with a manic grin, prodding the stone-faced chairman while his staff panics off-screen. It's a bold move, prodding a guy who likely signs her paychecks. But hey, she's betting his silence is the only thing keeping her alive right now. The camera zooms uncomfortably close to his mouth as he announces he's locked in his script. He looks surprisingly composed, wearing the face of a man who thinks he's just solved a complex puzzle with a single sentence. The mood is thick with impending disaster because you just know that whatever line he picked is going to land with a thud. Jinwoo is absolutely done with your attitude. He smirks, face half-shadowed, glowing red eye piercing through the darkness as he calmly shuts down whatever disrespectful garbage you just spouted. Your tongue knows no manners, he purrs, oozing an intimidation so thick you can practically feel your spine turn to jelly. The room's a mess of reactions. Two characters have that classic slack-jawed, heart-throbbing cartoon shock, while the old man scowls like he's already done with this nonsense. Someone off-camera blurts a stunned "HUH," and this chaotic mix of disbelief and grumpy exhaustion spells a game-changing twist just landed, and no one's ready for the chaotic fallout that's coming next. The one-eyed guy's clutching his head, sweating through a forced, panicky grin. He's definitely just messed up big time, and the icy, sharp-eyed glare from the man below makes it clear he knows it. This is peak, "I just pissed off the wrong person" tension, setting up an immediate, regret-filled comeuppance that's about to land on him. That jagged shockwave of purple energy erupts, freezing every NPC mid-action with shared, silent disbelief. The protagonist's impossible move has shattered their predictable script, and the system itself seems to gasp at the deviation. This isn't just surprise, it's the first crack in the rules, promising a cascade of chaos for the hero to now navigate. A jagged purple shockwave explodes from the character's mind, the speech bubble crackling with disbelief. The air ripples with dawning horror as the realization hits. These NPCs are something else entirely. A desolate, rain-slicked dark road glints with scattered bullet fragments. The reversed text, a bullet, blaring at the frame's bottom like a grim punchline. The air's thick with the aftermath of a recent firefight, quiet enough you can almost hear the echo of shots still ringing. This is the calm before whatever mess someone's about to walk into. Bet no one's walking out of this night clean. A cold, misty void slams onto the screen with the words "not then" stamped across it, shutting down the previous timeline like a corrupted file. It's a smug narrative curveball, freezing the action to force a retcon and tell you that what you just saw wasn't the full picture. The tension hangs in a chilly, deliberate pause, making you second-guess everything before the next scene even loads. I'm not sure what you're seeing here, because I've just got a big, empty white screen. This looks like a glitch, a loading error, or maybe the manga just decided to take a nap mid-panel. Let's get that screenshot back and try again.